Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, and welcome back to part 5 of the life and suffering of Sir Brante. When we last left off, Stefan, our older brother, has just arrived home. So without further ado, let's jump right in. During lunch, Father tells you to stay home in the evening and prepare to meet some important guests. Your elder brother Stefan will return home by dinner tonight. Joining him will be your grandfather, Gregor Brante, as well as a noble friend of the family. You're excited about your brother's return. It has been years since you last saw him. How has he changed during his years away from home? Well, nervous that our grandfather is coming back because he was a bit of a tyrant, and our brother stopped talking to us because he thought we were too lowly, so interesting to see how this all plays out. You and Father await the guests anxiously. The doorbell rings. 3 people are standing outside. Grandfather is the first to come in, naturally. He has not changed a bit since his last visit, still eyeing the house with contempt, looking for any reason to demean it. Grandfather is followed by a stately young man dressed in a jacket embroidered in silver, whom you barely recognize as your brother. Stefan casts a glance at your threadbare clothes, your dirty fingernails, and smirks. The last to enter the house is a personable gentleman with a worn-out, wrinkled face. You have heard a lot about this man from father and grandfather. He is Baron Augustin Elborn, Stefan's uncle, a family friend, and the province's prefect, which means that he is the head judge and thus father's superior. Sir Elborn smiles lightly and offers you his hand. And this must be your youngest son, Morgan, yes? You have your father's eyes, young man. Father bows slightly to grandfather and Sir Elborn, but there is a moment of quiet when Stefan turns calm. Father reaches out to him awkwardly, expecting an embrace. There's a question in Stefan's eyes as he looks at grandfather. The old man shakes his head almost imperceptibly. We noblemen often put our emotions on public display, Father, not even after a lengthy separation. Oh, and last time we learned that our grandfather had turned Stefan against my father. There is no embrace. Instead, Stefan nods to Father curtly. He responds in kind, his face devoid of emotion. After the greeting, you proceed to the sitting room. Elborn is the first to enter. He kisses mother's hand, and Gloria's too, and tussles Nathan's hair after he sees him hiding by the table. Grandfather acknowledges them with glum nod. Greetings, Lydia Brante. I remember you were kind to me when I was but a child, and you must be Nathan. You could barely walk when I saw you last. Your elder brother ignores Gloria completely, not even a greeting. You proceed to the dining room in a dignified manner and take your seats. The dishes smell delicious, but they merely punctuate the overwhelming tension at the table. Elborn is the only one with a friendly smile on his face. The dinner is splendid, Lydia. Did you choose the dishes yourself? You have a truly refined palate. It warms my heart to know Stefan spent his early years with you. Womanly care always does a child good, no matter the estate. Your fork freezes in the air halfway to your mouth. You expect many things from a noble of the sword, but words of praise for a low-born woman are not one of them. You cast a glance at grandfather. He looks like he's about to choke on those words. It would do my grandson more good to stay at boarding school among his equals. Please, Gregor, parenting is no less important. Nothing can replace a mother's love, I cannot deny it. It saddens me greatly that my late sister could not be there to raise Stefan, but there was still a family for him, and he was surrounded by love. How could that be bad? And besides, his father was by his side all the while. A father's example is always the best. After all, Robert earned the judge's rank the same way you did. Your grandson will surely follow in your footsteps, and who knows, perhaps even the younger men of the Brante family will contribute to the... You clumsy low-born cretin! Everybody is startled by this sudden outburst. Grandfather's face turns red. He is glaring at a young lady servant holding a pitcher over a glass. Stefan is sitting right next to her, daubing a napkin on a fresh stain on his new jacket. Be gone this instant! The lady servant runs away, leaving the pitcher on a small table by the door. After a quiet moment, Elborn smiles again. It appears the servants have left us, yet dinner is far from over. Worry not, uncle. There are enough commoners at this table to keep us served with food and drink. Oh dear. Stefan glares at Gloria across the table. She is sitting right next to you. She shrinks down and hunches over under his gaze. Father furrows his brows. Mother covers her mouth with trembling hands. Grandfather sneers. Stefan's gaze does not move. The silence lasts far too long. Then she starts to rise from her chair. If the Brante gentlemen so wish it. Your hands clench into fists under the table. How can he bring himself to humiliate his own family, his own mother and sister like this? It is all grandfather's doing. Stefan could not have even bring himself to embrace father without his permission, and yet they are noblemen, and they have the right to act this way. If there is any way this dinner can become even more unbearable, you do not want to see it. Oh, okay. I'm not going to insult my brother. I could make small talk as if nothing had happened, or join my sister in her inner plight. I'm leaning more towards the third option. Wait and have a sip of tea and think about it. I mean, I'm trying to think what's more noble. Probably to help her in her plight, but at the same time, I don't want to disrupt the family dinner. And I mean, if I join her in doing that, am I just confirming myself in my lot? Am I sticking as a low-born commoner, waiting on Stefan, or am I helping my sister? I'm going to help my sister. I join Gloria in her plight. You rise from the table and help your sister wait on your family. You deliberate for a moment, then take the napkin off your lap and rise to join Gloria. A moment later you hear the sound of another chair moving. Your mother joins you. The three of you now refill glasses, serve food, and clear away dirty dishes. Sir Elborn tries to make small talk with father, but in vain, so he focuses his attention on grandfather and Stefan. Grandfather is pleased to inform him of Stefan's achievements at the boarding school, especially his exemplary sword-fighting skills. That makes me think I wish I had have chosen to do fencing earlier on. He constantly stresses the importance of your elder brother for the future of the family. You listen to him dispassionately as you continue serving new dishes to the table. As you wait at the nobleman's table, you, your sister, and mother never bump into each other. Your labour is impeccable. Grandfather could not have found fault with it even if he tried. Your shoulders or back are aching, but being a manservant inside your own house hurts even more. When the guests finally leave, Mother and Gloria embrace you with relief. You did not neglect your relatives and share their humiliation. And the composure that you have shown gave you new strength. So Gloria really likes me now, which is great. My willpower's gone up. Nice. I'm full of power. I'm happy with that. 11:29. A dropped handkerchief. Hot, dry wind sweeps through the city from the barren lands around it. The noble residents of Anizot prefer to remain in their chambers, while the commoners huddle in tents or in the shade of the silver tree. You are on an errand right now. Your father wrote a letter to a noble acquaintance, and you are to deliver it. Tomas, the boy down the street, is tagging along. The two of you are inseparable now. I'm glad we made a friend out of that. The errand is an easy one, so you decide to take this opportunity to loiter around the part of Anizot where the nobles live. So here you are in the middle of the city square, resting on the ancient brickwork by the old fountain in the merciful shade of the gargantuan silver tree. Tomas is by your side, lazily slouching on the edge of the fountain's basin. It's a hard life for commoners like you and me. Either you break your back in a workshop day and night, hoping someone will buy your goods someday, or you become a manservant to some noble. You never get a chance to enjoy life. I know that wasn't the accent I did for him last time, but... This is our lot, you remind him. We work and endure and suffer, but Tomas waves your words away. Yeah, I know that all already. Mother keeps drilling that stuff into me. We must be humble. Our strength is patience and persistence, so yeah, I say, but I want to make my fortune no matter what. So ain't that living by my lot, I ask you? But the lots, they ain't easy. Let's take you for example. Brante, your father's a nobleman. But even if that didn't make you a, but even if that didn't make you one, just look at your hands. You never had to work as hard as me, but we have the same lots, so we're supposed to suffer the same. Or look at your father. He's a judge. He toils around the prefecture day and night doing his judging, and he's a noble. I never seen an Arknian work as hard as he does. You shrug. The Arknians are a different race. The books say they were born to rule over humans. They are never commoners, always nobles of the sword by birth. They founded the empire after subduing all the human kingdoms on the continent. Humans will never be their equals. Arknians are always better, smarter, stronger, and their skin is a noble shade of blue. If the books are to be believed, of course. You've never seen one yourself. I was just going to say, actually, we haven't seen any Arknians before, and the game has made reference to them being different than humans in the past, so hopefully we'll learn a little bit more about that. Your idle chatter is suddenly interrupted by a rugged-looking guardsman dressed in black and green. He chases you away from the fountain. Common rabble like you have no place here. You hear the clattering of hooves and wheels against the cobblestones and see flags bearing a coat of arms, a sable serpent on a field of vert. It makes you squirm. It is the Archduke's coat of arms. The Melanidas dynasty. The horse that ran us over. The carriage door opens, revealing a young lady in a luxurious dress. You cannot look away from her. Those dainty shoulders suggested, but not revealed by the cut of her dress, her black hair cascading over them, her stately, slim silhouette, her pouty lips and prim nose, and those eyes, dark like the night sky, the way she moves, fluidly, gracefully. And most incredible of all, her skin glows an azure blue. She's a masterpiece given life. She is an Arknian. Wow. Octavia Melanidas. Clear the way for me. The Melanidas guardsmen work quickly to clear the way to the fountain for the Arknian lady. The searing sun dances on her skin in bizarre patterns. With one elegant motion, she reveals a handkerchief, then leans over the basin and wipes her head and neck with its cool water. Well, I'll be. That's Octavia Melanidas, our Archduke's own daughter. The Arknian turns away and proceeds gracefully back to her carriage. You see something slip out of her hand and fall onto the cobblestones right next to you. Her handkerchief. It is right there by your feet. Intricate craftsmanship, expensive woven fabric, delicately decorated with emeralds, filigree. Your heart skips a beat. Will you dare draw the beautiful Arknian's attention in order to return her lost possession? Or would you rather not attempt to cross the chasm between you and her? I'm not going to sass the trophy. I mean, part of me wants to mark the first time I've marked an Arknian. And also, I think if I give her back the handkerchief, she's not going to want it because it's been touched by a commoner. But I think it's the right thing to do, and we're trying to be a noble, pious man, so I'm going to give the handkerchief back to Octavia. You walk up to the Arknian lady to give her back the handkerchief she dropped. I mean, it's possible I could get killed by the guardsmen for even approaching her. It takes a moment to overcome your fear. You follow the young lady Melanidas and call out to her in a nervous voice. She turns around, her beautiful face marred by a puzzled expression. You extend the dropped handkerchief towards her. Lady Octavia's face contorts into a sneer. She signs to the guardsman indifferently. I called it. A guardsman's gauntlet-clad hand slaps you in the face. It rings your head like a heavy bell. Your nose cracks obediently under the staggering force. The rest of you follow suit and you fall prone. You can discern the guardsman's voice through the painful din in your ears. Should I take the handkerchief back, lady? After a commoner's hands have befouled it, let him wipe himself with it for all I care. I knew it. She remembers me, though. Octavia Melanendas. Young daughter of Tarquinius Melanendas, the Archduke of the Marga province, she is the embodiment of Arknian bride, beauty and pride. Hopefully she'll become a bride, although she's a bit of a bitch. You first laid eyes on her by a fountain in the golden square of Anisol where she dropped the handkerchief, and she remembers me. The Arknian lady remembers you from the days of youth. The carriage drives away. Tomas runs up to you and drags you back to the fountain. Your head is still ringing from the blow. The fateful handkerchief is still crumpled in your hand. And willpower's gone down. We still got enough though for 2 more actions. Matters of the heart. Event has happened. Met a girl. You experience your first romantic feelings. Really? For her? Interesting. I think I'd rather be a priest than go for her. Quick sip of tea. The year 1130, 12 years old. Year 1130, spring. The quorum decree. 12 years old now, you overhear an important conversation. It is a spring night, and Mother has just sent everyone to bed. You walk past Father's study and hear voices coming from beyond the door. Grandfather is yelling, and Father is replying quietly. The elder Brante men are fighting, arguing about the place of the commoners in the city. You sneak outside to avoid Mother's attention and hide next to the open window of the study. Perhaps they'll mention you too. That low-life idiot had the gall to pay me a visit and beg me for some service. He had the insolence to ask me outright. He thought I was going to support his claim for the chairman's seat in the lesser quorum. How dare he? Father, please listen. Mayor Egmont may be low-born, but he carries a lot of clout in Magra. He owns 5 iron mines. A friend like him could be quite useful, should he become the chairman of the lesser quorum. I don't give a damn who this Egmont is, Robert. What he is, however, is low-born. His lot is humility and obedience. The likes of him can never rule anything. They're nothing but a flock of sheep that need a firm, noble hand to guide them. I wasted so many years trying to quash that quorum decree, but that accursed Cornelius Tempus did everything in his power to make the Emperor sign that pathetic screed. And now even lowlives can yield power. True power, Robert. Just the right to discuss the size of the Archduke's tax, nothing more. That is only the beginning. What's next? Are they going to arm the lowlives now? Make them into judges? If the Empire rejects the foundations and the lots, the entire edifice will crumble. Bah, who am I telling this to? It is already crumbling, and you, my son and heir, are a harbinger of its destruction. Father, I'm begging you, I do not wish to marry a 3rd time. Lydia is a good wife and a dutiful mother to my children. If you would only allow her to... I will allow them nothing. Neither Egmont nor that freeloading wench of yours. What will you want me to do next? Live by the laws of the lowborn? I can already see where this is going, and I'd rather run my own sword through my gut than live in a country where nobles and lowlives share the same rights. My only dream is to see the name of Brante in the Blue Book, but that dream will never come true. They will never call my name Venerable El Brante, and it's all because of this marriage of yours. Well, that's the first time we've heard of the Blue Book. My only hope now is to hear Stefan addressed in such a manner one day. Thank the twins I didn't let you ruin the boy. He's about to grow up a true nobleman. His children will bear the name of El Brante. You have 2 more grandsons. Those spineless milksops from the common lot, they're incapable of anything. The best your middle son could do is sneak into the Imperial College and get ennobled by the mantle, although I have grave doubts about even that. As for that downtrodden Nathan, I hold out no hope for him whatsoever. You hear grandfather's heavy footsteps, the thudding of his cane, and the slamming of the door. It's time to sneak back home before you're discovered. So the old nobility and power has waned, and we're quite close now to a struggle for power. That's interesting. So it seems equality is coming to the land. But not as fast for some and too fast for others. School begins, year 1130. You started studying at the school of Sir Tibor and begin to master the sciences. A storm of expectations. Finally, the day comes when the teachers stop coming to the house. But before you can breathe a sigh of relief and put away the books, Father asks you to come to his study. You've grown, my son. It's time for you to continue your education away from home. I've chosen a serving school for you, Sir Tibor's school for the children of noblemen and well-off commoners. Naturally, it's not a boarding school for nobles, so you will study there during the day and come home in the evening. You share the news with your best friend Tomas. Sir Tibor's school, eh? Yeah, I've got to ask my parents to send me there too as soon as they get the coin together. Father says his workshop has toiled day and night for years to save up for my education. The school is based in an ancient estate of Arknian design. The classrooms are tall and spacious with massive benches. The sounds of scraping quills and lectures on history and imperial law and theology echo under the vaulted ceilings. The rules are strict, the lessons tiring. Restless, Tomas keeps getting distracted, and several times he gets his hand slapped with a stick for it. Every teacher demands flawless mastery of their subject. Every day Father asks you about your studies. You've already told him twice how Magra joined the Empire and how the nobles' court of honour is different from the commoners' civil court in the city prefecture. But Father keeps pressing you to work even harder. When it is time to go to bed, Mother will not let you go to sleep until you recite a newly learned prayer for her. And when it is time to go to school, you promise her every day that you will behave with great humility and steer clear of insolent behaviour of any kind, for you still live by the commoner's lot, and that lot is hard work and suffering. Your first month in school draws to a close, and the teachers announce that there will be exams at the end of the month to determine the best and worst students in each subject. Father insists that you devote all your spare time to studying law and history if you wish to follow in his footsteps. Oh God. But when you speak to Mother every day, you start considering theology. You still remember the revelations and divine visions that came to you in your earlier years. I mean, we met the gods when we died, and also we had that vision of the two of them standing behind my sister the first time we heard a prayer. You have only one more day until the exam. You have locked yourself away in your room. It is already getting late. Your desk is covered with handwritten notes, surrounded by leather-bound books. Just looking at them makes you queasy, but you have read through all of them again, at least for one of your subjects. There is a nagging thought on your mind. Tomas ended up in big trouble the other day. He got in a fight with several boys who lived next street. They heard about your wooden fortress and got in an outrage by the fortification built by commoners. They swore to dismantle it tonight. Tomas swore he would defend the fortress until the end. Perhaps you should abandon the books to rescue the friend in need. Oh God! But then you hear your little brother Nathan knocking at the door. Oh, please don't give me something else to think about. He stands there shyly, not saying a word. He often does that, standing still and staying speechless until you either speak first or he runs away. But this time he actually says something. The door is locked. Are you okay, Morgan? Is there anything I can do to help? Oh God. Oh God. Your head is spinning. This is the last evening before the school exam. If you fail, your family will be very disappointed. You have to refresh your memory on law or theology. Either one or the other. But Tomas and your fort are about to be stormed. Why today of all days? You grind your teeth in rage at the thought. Nathan is by the door, trying not to bother you. He wants to help you the only way he can, for reasons known only to him. Will you accept his help? Oh dear. Another cup of tea, sip of tea before I decide. Okay, the one I'm least leaning towards is focus on law and history. I kind of did say I was planning on playing the clergy, so I think I will rule that out. Which means we're not gonna become a nobleman though. But we've had visions, and we know the gods exist. Why wouldn't I want to serve them? We go help Tomas, sneak out of the house and run to the wooden fort. I just don't see that as being the best use of my time. You devote what little time you have left before the exam to studying theological texts. I'm going to spend a moment with Nathan. Oh, we put everything away and accept our brother's offer of help. But I don't know, how can he help us? What's there to help with? That I'm thinking of that one because it's ambiguous. You know, it could be really good. Let me just check my skills for a second. So I reckon if we go help Tomas, we might get an increase in nobility. I reckon if we study law, we'll get an increase in ingenuity, maybe. And if we study theology, we'll get spirituality. Oh, this is a difficult decision. I really want to spend a moment with Nathan. I mean, the thing is, though, I have to think about my family and becoming a noble. You know, that would improve my family's standing. Where's the thing? I'm trying to find the thing about the our family and their finances, but it doesn't. Oh, yeah, there. Yeah. Okay, what's my relationship with Nathan? He likes us. Oh, I'm just gonna pick theology. Ugh. I'm sorry, Nathan. You push Nathan out of the room. He cannot possibly help you prepare for the exam. With him out of the way, you delve into the books on theology. Your mind is awash with the names of saints and zealots, and concepts of the divine. Your studies tire you out so much that you fall asleep among the books until Mother wakes you up gently and sends you off to bed. Come morning, you barely have the time to wake up before you are walking to the menacing edifice of the school. The entire day is a constant stream of school subjects demanding knowledge, questions demanding answers. You demonstrate satisfactory knowledge of law and history, though you are somewhat confused by the technicalities and chronological order. It feels like the day will never end, but the end does come at last. The theology exam, as luck would have it, is the final test of the day. The teacher, a priest, starts asking you questions. Surprising even yourself, you provide coherent answers for all of them. You quote eminent theologians on why and how the lot of the clergy is to provide spiritual guidance to the other estates. When the questions require examples, you quote prayers and lives of saints you have read with Mother. You earn the highest grade on this exam. Oh, I'm sorry, Nathan. But my mother likes me. Back home, you are overjoyed to tell Mother how you aced the theology exam. She pats you on the head gently and says you should tell Father how you did in history and law. I'm now a searcher, which is good. Okay, I feel a little bit less bad about that decision, but I wonder how Tomas did. Our fort is probably destroyed. (11:30 fall). Noble titles. Your education continues. As you study imperial law, you come to realize that there is a certain hierarchy even within the noble estate. It seems your father's status is not quite equal to that of the more eminent human and Arknian gentry. You return home with this new information at your disposal. Father asks you about school after dinner, as he always does. And what is the difference between nobles of the mantle and those of the sword, Morgan? You already have an answer ready. The latter status is hereditary, meaning that it is passed down from father to son. After the Arknians, nobles of the sword are the most eminent humans in the Empire. They own land and estates, they fill offices of the highest rank, and the names of their bloodlines are preserved within the Great Blue Book. Nobility of the sword can only be granted by the overseer of the province or the emperor himself. And how are such eminent people addressed? L. I knew that answer. With the honorific L before their last name, you respond Sir Augustin L. Bourne, for example. Father pats you on the shoulder, clearly pleased. And what about the Arknians and their status? What have you learned about them? The Arknians stand above all human gentry. They are born to rule over humans, regardless of their titles. No L is required when addressing them. They need no honorifics, for the names of their ancestors or for their ancient dynasties are known to all. Father nods somberly. Yes, we can never be their equals. Do whatever an Arknian tells you and never defy them. Ever. And what about grandfather and me? Where do we stand as nobles? That is easy. Father and grandfather are nobles of the mantle. This title cannot be inherited, but it can be earned by any commoner as a reward for great service to the Empire in the Legion or as a civil servant. Father suddenly grows quiet and looks you in the eyes intently. Yes, and someday you will earn a noble title too, son. All in due time. I'm not quite so sure about that. So, we're going to leave it there for this episode. I really hope you enjoyed it. I'm still loving this game. Trudging out videos because it's just so much fun. So, let me know if you would have chosen differently or you think I should have chosen differently. And I'll see you in the next video. Take care and have a nice day.